Hello everybody. I wanted to bring you another idea of things that you can do with your foraged goods, because sometimes when you're out foraging, you may even stumble across something that is not edible, like these little deer bones that I have here, or feathers. There's a lot of things that are visually attractive, but not necessarily useful for medicine or eating. So I did just want to show you a couple of little ideas that maybe for gift giving or just for decorating your own home. I have a feeling that a lot of you all out there that follow me are like me in that you love nature and you love the gifts that have been given to us freely and abundantly. So I wanted to show you an idea, and this is just something that I've done just when I could. This is just a grapevine wreath, and I get my grapevine wreaths at Goodwill. Until I learn, my brother David will have to teach me. He makes grapevine wreaths all the time, but he's had a lot on his plate with this is lambing season. And he has got twins being born all the time out there. And anyone that knows about lambs and sheep, you got to keep an eye on them and make sure that they're nursing correctly and not being rejected, and, that they're healthy and that kind of thing. But going back to the grapevine wreath. Now, these are things that I've gathered and collected. Some of them are medicinal. Some of them are just pretty. Some of them are just leftovers. So in my grapevine wreath here, I actually have a small bundle of mullein tied to some wild lettuce, just one of them. I've got some ironweed, little blooms just stuck in. This is dog fennel that I've got just there. I love dog fennel. I think it's so pretty and bright when you find them in the barnyards. This is Dusty Miller. It's a type of Artemisia. I think I'm saying that right. Artemisia. Anyway, it's just something I grow out in my yard. Now, I'm not familiar if it is medicinal or helpful. I probably need to go Google that. But these are kudzu leaves up here. And then I've got the staghorn sumac, little cones just stuck in where I could. Then I have, these are Ruby's chicken feathers. She was my little New Hampshire red hen that I had for 6 years. Every year when she molted, I'd collect all her feathers. I just love that little hen so much. And there's some more of her little red feathers. We had the same color hair. Well, her feathers and my hair. These are just deer bones that I have foraged. And this is moss that grows abundantly on my rocks in front of my house that faces northeast. And it's not real fancy or anything, but I've seen some of these wreaths in florist shops and stuff like that. They'd make something like that, and it costs $45, $50. But these are things that were important and meant something to me as I gathered them. I had gathered some of this to take to my daughter's wedding, to make the arrangements, and those were just leftovers. And those were just some pretty leaves of the kudzu vine. They were just so pretty and green. They dried real nice. So that's that wreath. Now I'm going to take it and move it over here. And I'll put this little one up here. And I'll tell you about that. Now again, this is just a grapevine wreath that I got at Goodwill. And I've taken again my moss and just stuck it down in the crevices. Now when I got here to this house, it was a peculiar thing. It's only had one owner except for myself and this little old lady, And there were these just stacks of seashells. Now, these aren't seashells from a coastal area. These are the ones, well, they're actually a mollusk. And they're in the rivers here in Tennessee, these are abundant. And it may have been because of my proximity over here to the river. She may have gone down there and just gathered them up. They're everywhere. There's just little piles of them everywhere. And some of them are quite large like that. And I used to do that with my daughter. Take her down to the river, and we just gather bags of shells. You make little crafts out of it. And so these are just out of my yard. Here's some lamb's ear steakus in here. There's also the Dusty Miller, the Artemisia, that's there, and a few little ironweed blooms just stuck in. Now that is part of the vertebrae out of a deer. Now I make necklaces out of those. And this is a root off of one of my wild lettuce plants. It just, I don't know what happened. I was cutting the plants. I had pulled a bunch of them up, and I was cutting them and cleaning them, and I just saw that one out on the table one day, and I thought, well, isn't that cute? This is a mockingbird wing feather. That's our Tennessee state bird, is mockingbirds. And there's another one of the feathers that I have a bunch of them in the backyard. Mockingbirds all through the spring and summer, and they do just lose their little feathers and everything. There's something about when I find a feather on the ground, I just want to pick it up and collect it. So there's another little example of a wild crafted wreath that you could make out of the little things that you collect and gather on your little journeys. Now, I know that you're likely to find bones and little interesting rocks and shells and all kinds of stuff. I'll show you a necklace that I made out of one of the deer vertebrae. See, it's a macrame woven, and then I put the little shells on there, and then there's the deer vertebrae. You can make these into chokers or anything. They've got these little holes in the side of it. Now that's where cartilage would have been to hold the vertebrae all together. Now I find these everywhere because deer not only are hunted, but they do get hit by cars, and natural predators prey on them, and you find them all over. And there's various parts of various animals that you might find out in the wild while you're foraging. And I made one for my daughter one time, and I'd taken Ruby's little red feathers, and I had put caps on them, and I strung those all in like this on the other side of that deer vertebrae, and made her some matching earrings out of that. But those are just some little ideas that when you're foraging, you can, little leftovers and stuff you can make for your own home. I've got this little bundle right here of my different types of wild lettuce. I just dried them and bound them at the top and hung it. Let me get over here. Let's move that over there. That's all it is right here. You can see it. And I just dried it by binding it at the top and hanging it. So now I just have that set there. I mean, there's no method to it or anything. It's just something that pleases me, because to me, I think that's beautiful, because I know how much health and healing is in these plants. And of course, I can always go in and grind up the whole thing if I need to. I sowed so much of the dried wild lettuce that I was afraid I had run out, like I didn't have any more at all for my own self for the winter time. And I actually had one of these bundles that had been dry and just hanging, and I ground that joker up, and so now I've got some to get me through the winter. And so I just want to bring y'all a little idea about how you can gather these things and bring those wild things in so that you can look at them and appreciate the beauty of them. Now we know the medicinal value and healing value and nutritional value, but the beauty of them, some of them are just beautiful. Just beautiful. And how nature provides just beautiful things for us, just effortlessly. It's up for us to see and appreciate it. So until next time, I just want to bring you a couple of little things that can maybe be a good gift idea for yourselves over this gift giving season. And until next time, God bless you all.